So Heather asked me to talk about rehab movements and what to avoid with pain in joints, but I think this is more like a discussion, I feel like, just because I feel like there's a lot of different ways we can go if someone has pain, and it's always person to person. But I feel like we do get, I'm nervous for some reason.
What?
Nothing. I said I'm nervous for some reason. Yeah, but I feel like we get different variations of pain, and we can never know what pain that person is dealing with. Meaning we can't say, oh, your pain's not pain, or wow, you're in a lot of pain. Like, we can never know, right? We can't ever feel what that person's in. Well, we can just try to work around it or make them feel as best we can. So I try to think of like all the injuries that we see.
What, you think we young?
And I'm probably...
What font size is that? What, you think we got good vision?
But a lot that we see, right? So spinal stenosis, I mean, I can name off a few people that have that. Knee replacements we see, I think the most we see probably knee replacements, herniated discs, whether mostly lumbar, but then definitely like some cervical and thoracic. We have quite a few hip replacements. Bursitis is really common. And then I think more lately, we've been seeing more of arthritis, definitely, but like a lot with the elbow. And I think elbow for me, I feel like I'm not super like confident when someone comes in, and that's something like we'll just talk. I didn't give a scenario for that one, but I feel like just in the past month, we've seen a lot more elbows lately. Yeah, so like all different hip impingement, shoulder impingement, right? Those are all really common too. I think our least common is probably like labrum tears and like fresh labrum tears and rotator cuff tears.
There's a lot of people that have labrum tears. I don't know they have labrum tears.
Yeah, but like but like hip and shoulder for labrum.
For sure.
Patellar tendonitis, which just fancy name of saying I have inflammation. Carpal tunnel, I feel like a lot of people probably have that and don't even realize it. And then just simple like neck and upper trap strain. I feel like we've seen a lot more people with that. And then just general knee pain where we don't even know what's going on. I didn't know I made that like that. Can you see that at all? So I just added a picture. I think it's cool to see, like there's so much that goes involved in one knee joint. So you can never know, like let's say someone came with general knee pain, you can never tell like, oh, they have pain in their ACL, right? Like we can't ever know, and we're not doctors, but I thought it was just cool just to see that. Okay, so what I did was I just wrote out like common rehab exercises that I feel like we could either use, and I want like your opinion too, like if you're like, no, like I don't think that's a good one. But common exercises that we can use for just knee joint specifically, if let's say, again, I have scenarios down the road, but if someone does come in and, you know, like, hey, you know, client F comes in and they have really bad knee pain that day, like maybe these are certain exercises that we can go into. A couple of them that I don't know, that I wanted to go over was knee cars. So, because have you guys seen knee cars before? You have, yeah. You've probably done knee cars. How do I get out of, never mind, I figured it out, I think. So I really love, her name's PhysioFix, I know Heather knows. And I wanted to show a video of her and then we could practice it. Just how she sets up into it. Wait, it's the next one, I think. Okay, so basically you're trying to open up into the joint itself, right into your tibia.
People call this flossing.
No, flossing is for your sciatica.
No, knee flossing.
There is knee flossing.
But that's what I thought this is knee flossing.
That's the way of doing knee flossing. There's multiple ways of doing it.
See, and that's where like different wording and stuff. But yeah, so.
I feel like, well, okay, what does CAR stand for, right?
Controlled articular.
Of what?
Of the joint.
Right. Flossing, I think, is more.
No, I think she's because if you, I'm pretty sure if she's gonna move her foot around, try to twist your knee.
Yeah, so what you're doing is you're trying to create range of motion into your actual knee joint, right? So I'm gonna hold here and I'm gonna hold at my knee. I'm gonna turn my foot in, flex up, whew, out, down.
What are you feeling?
My hamstring.
No, but that's where I'm tight. Like I don't know if you would feel it, but let me make sure I actually did it right.
Like, what am I supposed to be controlling?
So you're trying to basically separate, this is how I understand it, you're trying to separate from your fibia, right? This is your fibia. Your fibia, your patellar, and then your tibia. So you're trying to get range of motion into that tibia. So you're trying to I'm not doing a good job of explaining this. So see how she's holding, that may actually help. Wait, stop. So she's actually holding her actual, is this your tibia, right? Yeah, her tibia, to try to see if she can get more range of motion into the where the top of the tibia hits, like the top of the tibia and the femur hits. That's where you're trying, it's like the same thing as your cars here, you're trying to get that shoulder joint to open up. Go slower. You may not even.
I mean, I do feel this moving when I touch it.
Try not to get it to move.
Oh.
The tibia?
Yes, the tibia.
So for example, what would you do for somebody like, Bob?
For Bob?
Like meaning like, would you be able to, let's talk about who would you give this exercise to? Anybody that's young and athletic and can be on the floor, great.
Yeah, for sure. I would give this to anyone.
Bob can't sit on the floor and probably got his knee.
You can feel his hamstrings.
You could put him against the wall. You could probably put him against the wall.
Don't you get that on your shirt?
Right? Like I'd probably put, but I don't know. Like I don't know if you could or not.
Because they're going to be there's part of exercise selection is knowing who to give it to.
Yeah.
So you might be able to get away with 90% of the population, but for the 1%, could you do that seated at the bench, for example, or not? Could you do, you know what I mean, like watch the floor?
Yeah. Now I've only ever seen it on the floor like that. Like I looked up all different ones, and I couldn't find like a popular one, not how she was sitting.
So I guess in the sense of like, how do we know we're doing the exercise correctly? What are we looking for as trainers? For example, for that's an exercise for most of us.
Yeah.
So like, what would we look for?
I feel like we would have to take someone who has knee pain. Like I feel like, not to single you out, but I know you have knee pain, but maybe you would be a good tester on like where's your knee pain usually?
It's patellofemoral, so.
Yeah, it's like I feel like he would be a good candidate for it because.
Okay.
What's up?
Guide him through it.
Okay, let me see if I can guide you. Let me coach you. Okay, so you're trying not to let this bone move or this thigh move. Now you're gonna take I gotta do it with you. You're gonna take your left hand and you're gonna hold right down. Let me move you, relax. Right there.
On your tibia or on your patella?
I'm right below my patella. I'm like at the top of my tibia. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, you're gonna lift your foot off the floor. So your weight is in your right arm, right? Or your weight of your leg is in your right arm.
Yep.
Now you're gonna take your toes, you're gonna pull your toes in. So as you're pulling in, you're trying to start the opening of your knee without moving either this part of the leg or this part of the leg where your left foot or your left hand
I
is.
don't want my tibia moving?
No, you don't want anything moving.
Ow.
So you're basically trying to like loosen up into.
I have such a tibia, sorry guys.
So I'm gonna keep that still. I'm gonna bring in. Wait. Bring in slow. Yeah, you have to like really hold it hard. And then now you're gonna lift up. It's a lot harder. And you're gonna go toes out. And then down. So you can't extend high. Pain?
No.
Tightness?
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe just doing it wrong.
See, I can't feel what he's doing though.
Yeah.
But you can
So, like-
feel it on yourself, why can't you feel it on him?
No, because he has knee pain
Because it's history.
Yeah.
and he's obviously tight where he's not feeling what I'm feeling.
Okay, so feel my leg, because my leg's the complete opposite.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna do it with you. So you're gonna hold the knee, not gonna let
I
the
want you to
thigh.
feel my leg, because
feel your leg?
I don't understand this.
Yeah, that's kind of why I'm in the same boat.
So I guess as a coach, if you're gonna coach it, you have
Well,
to think about how you would feel it on them, because they're not gonna feel
That's
it.
what we're doing.
Yeah, and that's why that's up there. That's why I said like some of these may not even be good options
Exactly.
for us, but that it's just stuff that I've either done in the past, not here, but like done in the past, or like it could be.
So you've done this one in the past?
Yes,
Great.
but it's been a hot minute.
That's okay.
Okay. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, wait, left side. Okay. All right, so you're gonna bring your toes into you, and then you're gonna lift up, extend up. Okay, toes out, and then go down. See, I can tell you're very flexible here in your knee, so I don't think this is even doing anything on you. But again,
You can't feel it.
yeah. Yeah, like completely different. Look at from his knee to your knee. Like you're able to stretch your knee, like your kneecap separates. Like if you bend your knee again, you see how your knee, like you have a lot more separation. I don't know if separation is the right word.
Where are you seeing it?
So look at his knee, right? You can tell his kneecap, like you
Very
can
close to his
physically see how close his bones are together versus Heather's. Like Heather's, I'm pretty sure like I had a hard time even feeling her tibia. Right there, right? Right? But then his, right here, right? Because this should be where your patellar.
It's struck the way you're born. That's like.
Well, yeah. I mean, we know, yeah.
My tibia barely moves at all when I do anything. Like I can feel the muscle, but the bone's not moving. And you're looking for bone, right?
Yeah.
The bone's not doing anything.
So now
the bone's just there.
Place your hand on the tibia and then see what happens.
Okay. So now you're gonna bring your toes into you.
Oh, toward me?
No, sorry, wrong. Toes this way.
Inward, yeah.
But don't do this with your ankle. Just do this. Yes. Okay. Now lift up. Flex your foot. Or sorry, flex your leg. Wow.
Your knee.
Thank you. Flex
That
your
one?
knee all the way up. Yeah, lift up. But keep your toes pointed in. Flex up.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah, okay.
What do you feel?
So what do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I
You feel in here?
I mean, I feel my knee too, yeah.
Okay,
I'll
now
work
go,
on that.
hold on, don't move. Go here. And now go down.
It's just control is what it is.
Yeah.
And then go, same movement, go up again.
But this time you're going down. Did it hurt?
No.
God, Britt can't walk tomorrow because I'm pressing on his knee. And then go
Like
down.
me on video.
Does it feel good?
It felt pretty good, yeah. Once I was doing it, right? Yeah.
So I guess.
I understand it now.
You understand it?
You should try Roger because Roger has really strong knees, so it might be completely different than on someone with damaged knees and someone who's full hypermobile.
Okay. Messing me up with left and right now.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. I'm already here. Okay.
Bye.
Okay, so. Wait, flex your foot for a second. Thank you. Okay, you can bend again.
And Roger has really bony knees too.
Yeah, but I had to see it from
So where's the end of your tibia? This is my tibia?
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because your patellar, again, it's been so long, but your patellar tendon is so small, like it should be just from here, from underneath your kneecap. And correct me if I'm wrong, Brett, but because you have a lot of knee stuff, so I feel like that should be your patellar tendon. Okay. Okay. So hold on, not yet.
I mean, Roger has such bony knees, you can see the top of his tibia.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
that
So
one.
I'm gonna try to keep this still.
Okay.
So now let's go toes in. Okay, now you're gonna extend up. Slow, slower, slower. Okay, now toes out.
Oh, so you're not fully extending.
Well, I mean, I don't think you can.
Okay. So you're only doing it so it doesn't move. Once it moves, it's too far.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
That's how I understand
Yeah,
it.
I mean, I think we might be looking for too much, because think about think about most cars. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
it's the effort the person puts into it, and the tension and the control.
Think about, remember how we talked about how I was talking about
Yeah,
like the shoulder cars? It's the slower you go, the farther I reach, the more I'm gonna get
Yeah.
out of it.
So I want to try to really flex my toes out and in.
And then go slow, right? So the slower you go, because I'm trying to keep, you're keeping this from moving and I'm trying to keep this from moving, right? The more I'm gonna get out of it. So see how much harder it is for you?
It's like mechanical.
Okay, now go toes. But now when you go toes in, you see how you're starting to move your knee there?
His
Your
quads.
actual, so
Rotating.
you're not getting any separation
So how do I do that?
from, so you gotta keep this from moving. Okay, now go down slow. Yeah,
Felt different than when I did it myself. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
but that, I mean, so I think we realized that that's not a good one for,
Well, it's not a good one. I feel like we needed more experience with it.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
just
issue.
think you have to understand what you're looking for.
yeah.
And like, even just the small amount, like work with someone that actually has knee tightness, it might feel totally different on them.
Yeah, I mean, because I guarantee you that if we did it with half of our clients, they would probably feel
Like, think about Eddie.
that, I mean, yeah, he'd like, and he'd feel so much different, right? It'd be so much different than what we do or what we're feeling. Another one, oh, VMO raises. Do you guys know supine VMO raises?
I don't remember what that looks like.
So your VMO here, right? So I'm gonna go toe flex to me. I'm gonna slightly turn out. Now it's not here. It's just the toe turning out. Flex the quad. Your pelvis is tucked, and then I'm lifting, and then right back down.
It's just like a VMO focused TPE,
Yeah, exactly.
So hold on.
meaning at the angles.
So over here, you got this like straight or bent?
Bent.
Okay.
That's just to support your back. I mean, it's not like a
So I'm tucking my pelvis in. I'm not letting my hip move.
go to normal. Hold on. Go to normal.
Normal supine raise.
Yes, thank you. Now flex the leg and then turn your toe out slightly. Yes. So it's not that big. It's not a full-on adductor.
I can't really move all the way up. Compared to this one, I can move all the way up.
Why?
What? I mean, like, I just.
So you're turning at your hip right now, which is what you don't want to do. So you want to think, hold on, relax for a second. Flex your muscle. Okay, now slightly turn just the toe out.
How you do that?
So that's his, I think that plays into his knees.
Well, I think he also has he has a really, I think you're right.
You
hip's
see?
tight.
I don't know.
One of your hips is
Switch
tighter than
legs.
the other, so you get that cramping in.
So flex.
Flex.
Okay, now slightly just turn the toe out. Yeah, it's your right side. Okay, now I want you to go slow, a little bit more.
To me, it looks like his hips opening, but I can't really see over here.
It is opening.
You're having a hard time separating your hips.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're still a little bit flared out, so now try lifting. Lift up. All the way up, all the way up. Come on, all the way up.
I can't do that.
Why can't you do it? What's stopping you?
It's cramping.
Oh.
There's like a restriction there.
Jeez Louise.
Because my hips hurting out every time I go
Yeah.
higher.
So these are really good. One major takeaway from this is these are really good buy-in exercises. If you have a client that doesn't normally have pain and they do, hey, you're supposed to be doing squats right now. Hey, let's try this VMO focused supine raise that will at least activate your quad. That's like a huge confidence builder on people. So
Yeah,
if you
for
have
sure.
those in your back pocket, it's massive.
Yeah, so I added like something like calf raises, because again, like calf raises should be getting you should still be getting your butt, your hamstrings, right? So even though I'm working my calves, I'm still getting
Unless-
all of that, unless I'm not doing it right. Wait,
Or what?
or I can't straighten out my knees.
Or you shouldn't straighten.
Or if I can't lock out my knees.
Calf raises.
Yeah, well, I can do a bent calf raise to get my
Straight
soleus.
leg calf raise. The one we normally teach is straight
straight leg calf.
Yeah,
Right?
and that should get hamstrings and butt.
For sure. But if somebody has pain straight on their leg, there's no reason why you shouldn't do bent knee calf raises because the knee joint goes to the calf.
Yes,
The
yeah,
calf goes to the knee joint.
yeah,
So it's still a good exercise to pick from. If
Yeah.
you're just looking for something to do that affects the leg.
100%.
Okay.
I love the Copenhagen side plank for knee.
Yes, so I added
Think about it like.
or lifts too, because we don't do those a lot, but like if I was gonna do, but I when I was doing this, I was like, oh, like this would be good, like just a different variation to get a lift. So if I'm here, oh my God.
Well, you do legs straight
Did
first.
something just pop? Oh my god, did you just break yourself or the return you ever go skiing? Please do.
You're not gonna do that, that makes you going up and down.
Do a leg bend. Do a leg bend. Go the other side.
What?
No, the leg was. I mean, that's like almost straight.
I was cap on. Okay, we're not gonna do it. Okay, but instead you're gonna go up and down.
Hold on. Would you teach? What was the regression for that then? Knees bent.
A
And
knee
how would you do
on-
that any kind of equipment we have.
What do you mean?
So like, I guess what's the regression for Copenhagen leg lifts? But not leg straight.
Knee on.
Knee on.
Yeah.
What would your leg be though?
Or would my other leg be? Just bent, just like it normally
Okay, so
is.
both legs are bent.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just couldn't straighten out my bottom leg because I wasn't on the bench.
You just straighten out.
My bottom leg. Yeah.
Okay, so I thought Roger was gonna ask a question, but he didn't. But like, okay, so Bob could never do that.
No, but
Okay, so what's your regression?
Bob could do either sideline leg raises, adduction, or he can do a standing, which I realize I have it in the hip one, but not in this one, or the standing banded adduction.
What else can you do?
Ball squeezes, right? So, I mean, you could hit.
What you could do is you create it, but you're basically in this side plank with a ball between his legs, squeezing.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many
Amazing.
side clamshell variations. I only added the generic one that we always use, but there's so many different like,
Think outside the box.
yeah. So and I end up I think saying that dumb, but yeah, good on all those.
Wait, try something
Wait,
real quick.
hold
Go lay down. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, go lay down. On your side again. Knees stacked like you're gonna do a clamshell. Okay, now lift your lift your top leg up slightly, just your knee. Just your top knee.
Oh,
Okay, without moving anything, try to lift your bottom knee up.
Oh, this is
Oh, I hate these.
This is a PRI. This is a PRI one.
This is a good exercise for you.
Yes.
Okay.
The adduction.
Oh, yeah.
But you
It's
have to make
really
sure.
difficult, and
you
your
have
top
to make
leg is
sure
not loaded.
Top leg's
Their
down.
hips, their hips are stacked. They can't be facing open. Their hips are stacked. You gotta make sure they're.
I really strained my hip.
You can do holes like that. So you can do holes. You make sure your hip. Actually, when we used to teach it in Kuwait, I used to have people lean forward even more, pat the top knees past, and you gotta try to pick up your bottom knee and hold. Already there, I'm cramping.
It's so hard.
It's very
Anyways,
difficult.
We should,
Um,
that might be something we wanna add to the list of
Yeah.
things we wanna add to program.
Can I add? Oh no, I can't add on.
A couple of things though to think about.
Oh wait, I can add notes. I can add notes. I can add notes. Oh my god. Oh my god.
But a couple of things to think about variations is you gotta think about your time that you have in a session. You have 55 minutes. So that's another thing when I think about it. Stephen Walker sometimes he has single legs, TKEs. I want him to rush through it, so I give him double leg TKEs because it's a lot easier for me to get him, right?
Yeah.
Same benefit, you're just double legging it.
I feel like you have to be careful with double leg versus single leg sometimes depending on the person because I feel like they either don't do it right,
Absolutely.
they
You gotta know
cheat
how
the
to coach it and see what
move.
you're cheating.
Yeah, you have to be able to
For
see
sure.
what they're doing because a lot of times people just like squat and I'm like, what are you
So
doing?
what
This
do
is
you
not
think are
it.
some of the cheat methods for people that you can see from the side?
Well, A, rushing through the movement. B, the knees are going either way too far forward, right? They're squatting way too low. They're not locking out at the top. They're,
Or they're locking out too much.
yeah, they're locking out too
The one that I've
much.
seen a lot double leg TKEs is when we have them assisted against the wall or the rack. They're like this, but they're just doing this.
Yeah, hips. Hips are a big one.
Exactly.
Hips.
So you gotta have them lean back, push it away
Hips.
from the wall, and you're here.
Yeah. I think unless someone can't do a single leg TKE right, then they can't do a double leg.
I absolutely agree, and that's why I said I will only give a double leg TKE to people that are more advanced.
Yes, yeah, which was why you said, who you
Steve
said,
Walker,
yeah,
for example.
yeah.
So just take into account that. I would also take into account the amount of time, and I love TKEs, the amount of time single leg TKEs take for 15 in each leg takes a long time sometimes. So I would go, that's one exercise I would move from 3 to 2 sets, for example.
Yeah.
Unless it's the only thing, this is what I'm saying about selection of exercise reps and sets. If it's the only thing you have available that they can do, then yeah, hammer the sets and reps. But if you can do something else that's faster and they can move on, just move on.
I feel the same way with abduction, adduction. I don't ever do
Yes.
15 or 20 anymore.
Yeah.
10, then you're done.
Yes.
Yeah, I've started to lessen,
Yeah.
we talked about
Yes,
this
you
a
do
little
that.
bit. I'm starting
Get
to
the form
lessen the
perfect,
reps.
Make them really stiff, and 10 is enough.
But I think it's 10 is enough if they're doing it slow and
That's what I
controlled.
mean, right.
And
Like
somebody-
if they're rushing through it, they're not doing
And
anything.
this happened to Kenyatta last week. Another example is the amount of reps, like he goes really slow and everything. Like for him to get out of just his first warm-up set and his first power strength set, he takes like 20 to 30 minutes
Yeah.
just to get out of that, yeah.
Really?
But he goes
Very.
super slow. So for a person like that, it's almost like you either gotta tell him to pick it up a little bit, and it's part of the form that you gotta build up. Some people need to slow down, some people need to pick up their pace, right? And you gotta tell him, maybe it's on our side, we're doing too many reps for like the sidewalks and the forward and backwards. Like he's taking like 5 minutes to finish that. I'm like, what's going on? But he's like very concentrated, and he's a very concentrated individual, right? So he's walking like this. And I'm like, dude, I need you to pick up your pace. You can't stay here all day. For a person like that, I only do one set. I only do one set because it's not worth it. Not worth the time that it
Yeah.
takes, right?
I mean, he's actually making it hard on himself with
Very
walking,
hard, but-
by walking that slow because he's
Absolutely.
keeping tension the whole
But
time.
there's other things that we need to get to. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying, right? We need to, so that's that person.
We're gonna have to refocus this meeting real quick.
But, wait,
Well.
go back. Everybody good with everything else? Spanish squats, what to look for, lateral step downs, what to look for. What's the difference between lateral step downs and posterior step downs?
Posterior, it's position. So lateral, you're gonna feel things a lot different. I think so, right? So
Which one do you feel your hip more, which one do you feel your quad more?
lateral is hip,
more, right? Yep.
posterior, eccentric posterior step downs. You can even go, I didn't even add this, but forward step downs, we don't do those a lot. But forward step downs, right? That's all knee, all quad. Even ankle too. So a lot of people can't even,
Oh, we used to do those with cat.
yes, yeah.
Who's now dead? Sorry.
Wait,
Nothing.
no.
Oh, forward step
Forward
downs.
I was trying to think. I knew I've used them before here.
Oh, like
Yeah.
American step ups.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. They're also known as that, yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay,
Actually.
5-5-3.
Exactly.
On the 5-5-3, what do you want to look for?
So I'm looking for tracking of my hip, my knee, my ankle, right? I'm reaching as far as I can. So reaching, trying to keep stability.
Shift. I don't want to see the
Yeah,
shift.
coming up, out of it every single time. A lot of times I see people doing this the whole time. I'm like, what are you doing?
Exactly.
Yeah, so coming out of it every time, right? Oh, a good way to progress people on this, I did this with Jordan, put them on an RX pad. Like if they're like, it was her 5th week on it today, so like I just put her on an RX pad. It was,
Did you do a supporter on her, or was she unsupported?
because her one leg did need a little bit of support, so we had like like a finger on the rack, but it's not enough that it's, she's still using the crap out of her joints and
What I
her,
found on people that are supported, which a lot of people we give it to would need support most of the time, is they rely too much on the support and they shift their hips all the way to that leg
yes.
supported.
So I had Mick on this one, and when I first told him what we were doing, and it was like a few weeks on the program, and he was like leaning into the rack, and so what I did was like, so I took him off of it, and I had him like, what is this, arm length away, and only using fingertips. So if you tell them, this is just what I found, I don't know if this works for everyone, but you only tell like fingertip on it, I feel like that helps.
Okay, that's
Well,
perfect.
you're
Yeah,
gonna see
not
the
bad.
true strength of the joint in this.
Yeah. But I think it may be different.
The RX pad and that variation is also really good so you could give that exercise to someone that has feet problems, like bunions and
Yes.
hammer toes and stuff. That's a great exercise for that as well.
Hammer toes?
Hammer
Hammer
toe
toe
is
is like
what's
when you're-
created from a bunion. When your toes get pushed so much laterally, the toe then goes back this way. It's really painful. So my toes are getting pushed this way because of the bunion. This toe is deciding now to go back this way.
Oh, jeez.
seated ball squeezes, you don't care about what their feet are facing, right? I have them facing forward most of the time, but.
No, you do care, yeah. Because that's
Facing forward,
tracking,
right?
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, your feet are really important, I feel like, just because that's then tracking
yes.
from your knees and
What
your
are we talking
hips.
Seated ball squeezes.
And you don't want their feet moving.
You
Don't want their feet moving, you don't want their
moving.
feet too wide. Same thing with, which I'm surprised I don't have it on here, I have it somewhere, but seated, banded
Yes.
abduction,
The foot shouldn't be moving.
it can, I mean, I think it just slightly, but also where their feet are make a big difference as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then because we do it so much, band walking. There's regression and progression itself in band walking. Let's make sure that we understand. And some people, like Kenyatta, has a really hard time keeping his feet forward, but I think feet forward is a progression from this. It just depends on their ability to be able to do that.
Wait.
Do you agree?
Wait, you think
Or
it's
would
a-
you start everybody right away?
I start everyone right
I
away.
won't let anyone do this.
Okay.
Because think of when you're,
I
and this
would
is why,
reduce
because
the band.
when you're here, I'm not even getting my,
You're not.
I'm not even getting my abductors or my glutes this way. I'm getting my hip flexors and my quads, my
Okay, so let me ask you
adductors.
this. Would you regress by keeping knees bent, knees straight? By keeping feet forward but knees bent, knees straight? A regression would be legs straight and walking, right?
Wait, are you going lateral or forward?
Let's go lateral. Let's
Lateral?
talk about lateral only.
I think actually like straight is harder.
I think legs is way harder.
So
You're elongating the lever.
okay, so then, I guess, then the only regression that you have in this would be band size, and it would be,
Band positioning.
how far you go.
Yeah, where it's at.
How far you go. compared
Band positioning. I don't care how far you go ever.
to- I do.
Why?
Because
You're not
if you got
changing
tension, if they come in all the way, then you
Well,
lose tension.
I'm not talking in that sense. Basically, you maintain tension the whole way, but I'm never having someone like, okay, I need you to get wider. Like,
Well, to me, that's lack of band strength. Like, you need to put a harder band in them. That's what it usually means to me.
sure, but I think people's instincts are I'm gonna push as hard as I can, where like, you don't even need to push that hard.
Yeah, no, you should
Tiny
still
muscles.
feel both of your legs should be working. Like,
I'm trying to figure out, because there's people that are weak in their hips, but they're using the blue band, and they shouldn't be. And where's
There's
that
very few people that
coming
should
from?
be using the blue band.
Huh?
There's very few people actually that should
Exactly.
use the blue band.
So where is that coming from? Is it coming from their hip, their knee, and their ankle, where they're messing up? Usually. Is it coming from their hip then? They're leaning to one side to take their foot up, and they're leaning to the other side to take their foot up?
I think it starts with the hip and then it goes to the feet.
So then, show me a banded walk, the perfect way you want it to be done.
Perfect way.
Yeah. What the ultimate goal is of the banded walk.
Okay.
She chose the hardest band.
I chose the first band. Okay, so Heather, we're gonna do band walking. We're gonna have the band. I want to keep tension, so about hip width apart. My toes are gonna stay forward towards this wall. I'm gonna find a nice soft micro knee bend, and I want to keep my hips level. So we're not gonna let one hip hike up higher than the other. Small steps. I'm always picking up my feet, right? I'm leading with my outside heel as I walk down. I'm gonna use this part of my hip, but I'm also using my adductor, my inner thigh on my other side because
To
it's
control my-
resisting.
That's
Yeah.
why I think letting people step too wide is the wrong answer. I don't ever let someone outside of their own hips. Like the way she was is exactly how I coach it.
That's perfect, yeah.
Because otherwise you start cheating.
keep it at the hip level.
Another
Hip height.
regression other than just band resistance is band positioning. I can have it above someone's knees,
That's
below
true.
someone's
I forgot
knees,
about
on their
that.
shin, on their ankle, on their foot. Like there's so
What
many
about,
places.
so then, we're talking about forward and backwards.
Forward and backwards. So forward and backwards tricky.
Very tricky.
So, because I think when I came from TUSBT, right, we always did make a backward C, right? But what we're working is we're seeing here, a lot of times, so I want to track, like I'm in two lanes, right? I'm in right and left lane. I want my feet to stay in right and left
Railroad
lane,
tracks. Don't leave your railroad tracks.
right? Yeah.
Feet are still pointing forward.
My feet are still,
bent.
but I'm mentally thinking about the outside part of my heels. Now when I go back, it's even harder. Outside part of my heels. Toes stay forward, and I'm still keeping.
So the way I think it really, what do you want on the way back to activate more than your
My booty.
glute max, right?
Yeah.
So way forward you're more glute medius again. Way back you're more glute max, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I learned this in my own physical therapy. So go ahead and step back, but don't put your heel down. Good. So she's gonna really roll through her foot really hard, and she should get better glute activation. So it's like you're really rolling through your whole foot every single step.
So toe, heel.
No.
Am I- oh,
toe,
toe.
heel.
Toe, roll, drive. Toe, drive, roll. There you go. You
So
feel your
then,
glute out like
what
that?
about forward? Are you focusing on heel toe?
No, because forward, I'm trying to get her glute max on the way back. On the way forward, like she said, as long as she's keeping weight on her outside of her heels and she's staying in her railroad track, she should be getting a lot of glute medius out of that.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Feel my.
And then, okay, so we got Dan walking. What about hamstring races? What do you think a hamstring race should look like, doubles and singles? I teach people 90 degrees as a regression, below 90 degrees as a progression. So essentially what it looks like would be
I'm here. This would be my regression. I'm looking at always pulling in my belly button. What I don't want to do is do this, right? You see a lot of people do this. Stay tight. This stays engaged. My lower back should come off the ground. Even my shoulder blades up to the bottom of my shoulder blades should come off the ground, right? What a progression would look like would be even tighter, because you can extend a little bit further and you're working a lot more in the range. That's what I think.
Stay there. I just thought of something. So let's say someone, I have backslide, but I thought this would be a good one too. You could actually probably get to a good hamstring work, laying them on their back by, okay, relax your head, relax your arms.
Okay.
What I want you to do is I want you to keep your ribs tucked, and you're not gonna lift your hips. All we're gonna do is you're gonna press into the box,
That's how I coach him.
hold, and then relax. So like just do like more of a heel, what do they call? These are called quad sets.
Wait,
Is this called anything?
ISO holds?
No. Like, cause these are quad sets. Brett, you do a lot of knee rehab. What you got?
I know you keep looking at me, I'm like, I don't know.
I know,
what
that's
it's
a
called.
TKE. That's a TKE, but it's like a bodyweight TKE.
No, this is specifically called a quad sweat. What I'm doing right now.
Quad set?
Quad set.
Never heard of that before. So I mean.
Anyways, but yeah, I
Yeah.
just thought that would be a good thing if someone can't lift because of their back.
But there's also something to say about this hamstring race.
Yeah.
That's
What?
what I'm saying. So when would you use this compared to the other ones?
When would I use? I would never use leg straight. I think people get into their back.
But why?
If
why
they
is
didn't
that?
know how, because they probably are getting out of a pelvic tilt
Exactly.
and they're using their back versus
For
their.
almost everything you do, even a hip thrust or a hammy race at 90 degrees, you have to stay tucked. You
Yeah.
can't extend. So then if that's the case, we shouldn't, right, you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
we should be able to stay engaged and be able to use just our butt. It is gonna give out faster earlier than the 90 degree one.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is like all these, it could be it could be done wrong, even though they're easy to do because you have to look at what you're looking for.
Mhm.
That's why I want to go over all of them.
Yeah.
Right? And making sure we're all on the same page.
Mhm.
Copenhagen plank, we went over calf raises, we talked about single leg RDL. On the single leg RDL, what would your main thing be looking for? Not straining out the back, the bottom leg.
There's a lot of things on single leg RDL.
Exactly. You chose it, girls.
I think the biggest thing, two of the biggest things is just what the knee is doing that's loaded. So like, is it bending? Is it locking out, right? So I don't want it to squat. I also don't want it to lock out. So I want to find that soft knee. And then also what the hips are doing. So a lot of times people want to go right into
Yep.
more here.
Wait, Admiral tries that.
Yeah, so I think like if you tell them like pointing their toe down, that really helps as long as, and with that flex back leg. But yeah, the turning of the hip and then the knee, I think those are like two of the big ones.
The half of it is also keeping your shoulders relaxed. Because right now you have your shoulders back.
Never thought about my shoulders on RDO,
So
yeah.
think about it.
except for when I'm loaded.
Well, the problem is that if you don't coach that when you're doing unweighted,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna roll into that when you go weighted, right?
No, it makes
Heavy
sense.
push, my shoulders tight. If you're not keeping your shoulders like this, because that's why I'm starting to get away from reaching, because reaching is hard. Like if you see Stephen Walker's the perfect example. Experienced person, knows how to do everything, but when he reaches, he rolls his shoulders forward.
Mm-hmm.
It translates over to the same thing when he's doing RDLs with weight. He rolls his shoulders forward.
I mean, the way I coach RDLs is you have a rod in your head that goes out your butt.
Perfect. So now you gotta keep your shoulders back with that rod, right?
We need to move on if you want her to get past
Yeah, I
the
mean,
knee.
that's just a lot of exercises that we have to.
Okay, well there's a lot on every
Okay.
Every joint. Okay, so I think knowing the rotator cuff muscles is important for the shoulder. You can think sits, right? So supinatus, infraspinatus, teres minor, and subscapularis. I think a lot of times people strain these muscles without even realizing it. And I feel like a lot of the exercise I have in the next slide, they're basically all hitting these muscles, because the stronger those muscles are, right, the more stable that shoulder is going to be, just in general. Okay, so no money. I feel like we all know no money, right? I think the biggest one on that one is not letting the elbows flare, right? And then it's a rotation of the head of the shoulder, right? A lot of times I think I see people do it and they're like,
Well, this is
Can't even
exactly
do
like
it.
Banded Ace too. Banded Ace should be the same way.
well, they all should be the same way. But yeah, Band-Aids, I'm still moving that head of that shoulder all back.
Slightly, but what I think about, and I talk about this with Banded Ace with you guys, is if you think about pulling it down back, even with the band, you should be able to have that external rotation, the movement of the humerus.
Mm-hmm.
You also
Right.
want to make sure you're attaching the band significantly lower than,
Yes.
I mean, a tease for sure. But remember, we talked about it a long time ago. If you attach the band lower on stuff like that, it promotes
I forget that all the time.
less
Yeah.
internal. No money. You use a good cue when you're using a band. How do you have people hold the band?
In between my thumb and index finger,
Why?
because I want, why?
I mean, I know the answer is.
Because
I
I
just want you to
want to
say
open
it.
up my shoulders.
Oh, I
Um,
thought it was so that you're not over gripping.
Or I'm not, yeah, oh, I do say that a lot, yeah. So if I was gonna tell you, I'm like, I want you to hold in between here, you're not gonna grip it hard, you're just lightly holding it as you open up.
Because if I have a purple band and I'm gripping it, what am I activating?
My biceps.
I heard her say that a while ago, and I was like, oh, that's really smart.
I never had anybody grip the band that way.
I don't have them grip like that. I have them grip like really lightly. I was like, I barely want to feel you gripping. I want you to almost imagine the band is attached to your wrist instead. But
It makes a big difference when you grip, this is how I do it.
I've never done it before.
yeah, you feel it a lot different.
Versus like,
Can you double band it and still do it that way?
yeah,
Huh, that's good.
try. Head up.
So, okay, so I feel this great. I feel that in my shoulder. Damn, my right shoulder goes way further than my left.
Okay, now grip it.
To me, it feels the same.
What I'm saying is like.
But you,
I like
but you
that.
know how to.
Yeah, exactly. I
You're
like
also
that for the
experienced.
fact of getting out of somebody's habit of using their bicep.
Yes.
Yes, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Serratus wall slide. So you actually don't really need to use a foam roller, I feel like, but you,
Slide, right?
huh?
You need to slide.
Yeah, so you can use a slider or something. It's on your forearm.
But I'm saying you can just, you can have your.
That's what I'm gonna try right now, actually.
I mean, you
but-
have fabric on, so you'll slide a lot.
Yeah,
more than skin.
so I need to make sure I'm keeping my shoulder, my elbow, and my hand in one, man, my hands are dry, in one line, right? So I can't let my hands go in because then I'm not using that rotator cuff, right?
Which is
So.
the most common- well, I don't know if it's more hands or more elbows you see, but.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be everything in line and then I'm sliding up, keeping that control.
So you're
Woo.
not letting them ever shrug,
No,
for sure. Number one. Number two, are you letting the back extend? Because your back is extended right now.
my back's extended?
Very extended.
No, her back's not extended. It's just her butt. She's not extended.
I got a butt, Roger.
It's not her. It's not her.
It's like really arched. I can't see your front, that's fine. So I mean, what I've learned from this
Oh.
slide, go ahead, keep going again. The first thing you gotta think about is watching their shoulders not go up. Go ahead and try and go up. And the way I do it is I touch it, go back down. Most people cannot extend fully up. That's what I see.
No, you don't want to.
Yeah, exactly. So most people can't.
I bet I can, but that's not good.
Yeah, but you, again, don't want to.
What are cue words that you would use to keep someone's shoulders down other than manually touching them
On anything?
on that specific exercise?
I like to say, like, relax your jaw, because if I relax my jaw or, like, open my mouth, I'm going to relax my neck, because then that goes into my traps, right? I'm going to try to keep my arms light. So keep my arms light, because a lot of times if I think they're heavy, then I'm going to shrug up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I always say disconnect your arms from your back. Your arms are not a part of your shoulder, what you're doing right now. Your arms are traveling separately. I'm gonna set my shoulders, and now when my arms move, my back is disconnected from that movement.
Yeah.
Whereas this would be my shoulders connected my back connected to the wall.
Yeah. Yeah,
Anyone else?
that'd be what?
I mean, I think that a lot of times, what I gotta look from the side, and then from the side you can tell if it's coming from their shoulders or from their hands. Because if they're pulling up like this, but that's what I'm saying about shrugging. You want to try to keep those shoulders down the whole time, and the only thing that moves is your forearms. So I'm looking for that pattern. This doesn't move up. This moves up without it. Because right there, I can already feel it just by itself a little bit, right? And I think thinking about being hollow, right? Instead of, you have to be pulling your shoulders down, but staying hollow, right? Because if you don't want to retract and pull your shoulders down, that's not what
Yeah, I feel like that's with everything. That's the hardest part.
Let's grab some exercises that we don't use a lot.
Okay, so I think,
Go over handstand cock. I think that's one.
yes, that's one, because I think you can definitely do that one right around. So pretend I have a band around my, actually, you can do this without a band, or,
I think everyone should start without a band.
yeah, like, I just put this in Chris H's program, his last month's program, and he was on a band for the last,
Yeah, right.
until the last 2
He
weeks.
understands exactly what
Yeah.
you're doing.
So, okay, I'm gonna stay stacked.
10 reps per set.
I want to engage my lats, right? So I'm always pulling down and back. I'm loaded in my legs. I'm gonna take my right hand to 12. I'm loading my 12, come back. And I'm gonna load to 3, come back, load to 6, come back.
When you say load, would you load more than 50% of your weight into that hand, or 50% only, or less? See what I'm saying?
Same as if I'm in a normal
Yeah,
plank,
50.
Okay, so 50.
right? And then I'm going back, load. So without the band, you're working more shoulder stability in general. And then once you add the band, you're starting to work those rotator cuffs more just with that resistance, right?
Wall hugs.
Wall hugs. So this is a good one. It's kind of like banded A's, but it's a good posture one. So this is good for like Linda Wilkinson. I've given this to her just to like help her something at home. But I'm gonna go shoulders down, reaching to the floor, right? That's my first cue. And then I'm gonna pull into that wall, and then I'm gonna relax. So again, it's down into the wall, but I'm trying not to flare my ribs at the same time, because I don't wanna feel my mid, no. You're trying to think more like your shoulder blades.
So shoulder depression down,
Shoulder depression,
like you're weight the opposite of shrugging, and then you're pulling your hands back, but now your shoulders back.
no, I am pulling my shoulders back, but I'm thinking about my hands doing the movement to help with my shoulders.
Got it. So the opposite of bended A's almost. Because for the bended A's, you want to lead with your shoulders, not your hands.
Yeah, well, it's a different way of thinking about
Yes,
it. That makes
It
sense.
sounds like it. That's what I'm trying to.
Yeah, like it's to me it's the same thing, except I'm not open with my hands.
And I don't need my thoracic or my lumbar on the wall.
No,
And where should I feel this?
like your lower,
Thoracic.
like here,
Okay.
'cause it's just posture.
So like your mid traps.
Yeah, mid lower traps, rhomboids.
Okay.
Scaption raises. This is now in
Oh, yeah.
Cheryl's program. Cheryl Ryder. She said she liked these, by the way. I thought she wasn't going to. So I'm holding 2 weights.
Like you thought she was gonna like him, or she was gonna be in pain?
In pain, sorry. Yeah, in pain. So shoulders back is the first part, right? So find that posture. I'm gonna start right outside my hips. Arms are straight. I'm raising up to the Y and then right back down. So it's 45 degrees of your shoulder joint.
So you don't want to be. It's not a front raise.
Not a front raise, not a lateral raise.
So you're just focusing more than anything, keeping your shoulders down while you're doing it. Not
Yeah.
past
So you're gonna
shoulder.
feel like, at least I feel, a lot into, like right in between my front and my lateral delt is
So you're
where.
kind of pulling your shoulders forward.
No, I'm pulling them
I
back.
feel my lats a lot.
Yeah, and lats is good because I'm thinking set.
Okay.
Like so I'm having to hold my
It's like the lat is the stabilizer, but you're feeling it in the front of the shoulder.
so you actually should feel like if you look at your subscapularis, what it does is allows the humerus to move freely during elevation of the arm. That's what you're working while you're doing this, right? Because I'm setting, I'm engaging, and I'm lifting.
And And you're
I
stopping
think
at
that's what
90
you're
degrees.
working at least. What's up?
You're stopping at 90 degrees.
Yeah, because once you go overhead,
It becomes a lot more traps.
yeah, you're like,
Most people, yeah.
not even.
Good.
Pick one more.
So hold on one second. For the band and shoulder 90-90, I want to emphasize because the video is wrong. I just found out today. On the band video, we have 90-90. This one arm only. The way I've always thought about it is 2 arms.
Well, we have both.
It just
We have both. It
I
depends.
looked for it. I couldn't find the other one. The second one.
I use it all the time.
Where is it?
Because I did it. I made the video a long, long time ago.
Exactly, but it's only this one. On
No.
the video, you have yourself holding this one here and this one here. That's what I'm saying. I looked at it this time for the first
Oh,
time.
really?
That's what I was trying to figure out. Yeah.
Because I specifically added a single arm for Bob.
I think the original video is single arm. So what I want to make sure we emphasize is we probably should label single arm and double arm.
Yeah.
This would be double arm, the one I've always been used to doing.
Yeah.
Single arm, this guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think on shoulder 90-90, it's important to start people
In
here,
a row.
go back, and then go back, not
Oh,
just.
So then we should label it different. This is a row to external rotation. And this is just 90-90.
But like, okay, so look at your, do that again. So do you see how your humerus head is falling forward? I don't think that's a band in 90-90.
No, that's really bad form.
So I think of a band in 90-90 as I'm keeping my humerus head back,
Stability the whole time.
right? I'm never going here because you're just damaging your rotator. And this is what I think, right? Think about like a baseball, right? Like Brett throwing a baseball. That's how they warmed up, right? Right? Doing this because they're trying to get their in water polo, right? So you're actually working set, open, back.
So this is called a row to external rotation.
Yeah, or here, yeah.
What's the exercise we keep teaching on the wall with when you do angels to what? What am I trying to? Oh,
Oh.
cubic rotation.
Cuban rotation.
Same idea.
Yeah.
Cubic rotation, my humerus head should not move. People like think, oh, this is easy.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
As soon as I
I'm
press
not
on-
a great example.
As soon as I press on people here, they can't move.
Right, they get like here, and then they start to realize if they go any further, they start to
On
lose
all of these, you want to have, the goal is to have the humerus and the elbow the same position, right? You don't want to be here. and you don't wanna be
Yes,
here.
yeah.
Just make
But
sure we're correct.
the humerus head should be like locked in place, like
Those are two
So
stable.
hold on, let me stand up. Let me stand up. So when I'm doing it, I'm coaching clients to this way.
You just have tight shoulders. It's not good. You can see it rotating the whole time.
Where do you feel working? You feel back here?
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot.
I feel it at the very end, but I'm surprised you don't feel it the whole way.
What
Like
do you mean?
as you're starting to move.
Oh no, I don't feel it. I only feel. Yeah, you're right. I feel it at the end.
Yeah.
But with bands, I feel it.
So I think if you do it, if you start to do this, you should do here and here. And then just see if you start to feel it more.
Because I used to do those all the time, and then for sake of time,
Yes.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean.
But I think that goes back to your sport too.
Agreed. So we should probably label a lot of these differently, just so we're all on the same page. Yeah.
Oh man, I didn't even get to do it in my scenarios. I got a lot.
So we probably need to do this because this is good.
Roger for all of this.
Wow.
Well, I mean,
got
I
you real
think,
off track.
I think we need to be all on the same page,
I'm
and
not-
that's
yeah,
why
I don't
we need
disagree.
to talk about each one of those. Would you not agree?
Absolutely, no, I don't mean it in a bad way.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of great stuff, but,
Absolutely.
um,
Client A walks in with severe hip pain, can't move very well, history of hip replacement, what should we do?
are these answers, or are these?
So
ABC?
I wrote a scenario. I wrote what I think I would do, and then I said, what would you do differently? So that was where it was like going to be a discussion. And I did 4 scenarios. So the knee, back, and then shoulder.
Great. I love it.
But, and I stole your picture.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Because
It's not my picture.
because I think that is, at least that's what I think about when someone, except for I didn't know what blood flow restriction.
Cuffs.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, I'm working really light.
Both will, I mean, cuffs or just compression.
Or compression, yeah. Most of the blood pressure cuffs. We need to look